Yo, what is up, people? Give me a second while I get everything situated. Do my sound checks. Turn that music down in the back a little bit. All right, sounds good. Sound is good. It's Friday night. Y'all know what we do on these Friday nights, don't y'all? Grab your one, light you one if you do that. And let's sit back and chill. We got a little bit of stuff, but you know how it is with the Friday nights. It's open mic night, baby. Last time we did this, what did we talk about? We talked about fast food joints. So wherever the conversation leads us tonight, that's where we're going. But before we get into that, there is some waves. I'm about to say the portal. The recruiting trail for 2023, man, is on fire. Not even gonna lie. Now, 2023 is a while away, so let's not sit here and act like we're not gonna sit here and pretend like anything can't change there. But Lamont Green Jr. he committed today. We had another commit last night on the 2023 trail. Hold on a second. So Lamont Green Jr. in the building. Shout out Tribe 2023. That's one legacy down. Got a couple more to go for the 2022 cycle, but hey, we got one legacy down. Oh, and by the way, where is he? I can't find the young man who committed yesterday. Give me a second, because I forget his name. But he's just as important. Where the heck is he? There he is. Gabriel Harris out of Thomasville, Georgia. 2023 defensive end. Shout out to Coach JP. He's killing it on the trail right now. And this team has momentum. This team's got some momentum, folks. No reason to not be excited about what is going on, man. FSU's got some momentum on the trail, baby. And I keep telling you about this 2022 class and how just amazing it can potentially be. Is there any more doubt? Is there any more doubt? Is there any more doubt? Now, you got to win games. You got to win games. All this stuff goes out the window if you get blown out game one. If you only win 3 games again, 4 games, 5 games, all that stuff goes out the window. But you got to love the momentum that FSU has on the trail right now. And before we go any further, I see the chat jumping. 25 people. Hit the like button. Let's hit this roll call. Let's hit the roll call, folks. Let's see who's all in the building here tonight. I got Bobby, Peter Shields, Knowles Squad, Jose, Tyler, Island Boy, Concrete, John Shields, Rose, Mayan King, Florida State Love, Chris Robinson, FSU Football, Jen, Lorenzo, Hurricane CJ, what is up, my guy? Panama's in the building. I think I said you already, Island Boy, but if I didn't, Island Boy. And Kane Zay, he says top flight security in the building. William Washington. It's a Friday night, y'all. We chilling. Not gonna lie, I had a pretty good Friday. I don't mean to rub it in, but I was on the beach today in the sun, chilling, enjoying the water. I know everybody else in the country can't say that. I think if you're in Florida, you're good. Anywhere else seems like y'all getting tons of snow. Again, I'm not trying to rub it in your face. Please stay safe and stay warm. Because I heard, once again, man, Texas, I hear people are freezing to death in their homes. I hear it's really bad in Texas. So I'm not trying to be unsensitive or whatever. I'm just saying it was a great Friday today for me, and I hope you guys had the same. But we on here on Friday night. And again, man, what are we going to talk about here tonight? Well, wherever the conversation leads, like always. But before all of that, the trail is hot. The block is hot. Norvell and Company, they are hot. Concrete said there was 83 degrees today in Florida. So again, if you're anywhere but the state of Florida or the state of Hawaii, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. But the block is hot on this trail for the Seminoles. Gotta love what's going on. Gabriel Harris, Lamont Green Jr., both 2023. And of course, we recently had guys like Nico for 2022 class. FSU's got a lot of steam on the trail. We got a lot of steam on the trail. CJ says, Pope, you was at the beach and didn't get no tan. You must wasn't out there too long. Listen, I don't need to get any blacker than I already am. Believe me. Believe me. Grab your drinks tonight. We chilling. FSU football says FSU's not been recruiting bad. We just not winning. Well, you're true there. Not too many lies there. I mean, we're not recruiting at the level we need to. But we got a lot of momentum. I think more momentum than anyone would expect coming off of a 3-win season. More momentum than I expected. I'm not going to lie. I knew we had a chance to be solid on the trail this year with the amount of legacies and stuff like that. But to already have this type of momentum before ever playing a game after coming off of a 3-loss season, I gotta be pleasantly surprised right now. I think the most of the base should be pleasantly surprised right now, man. We should be pleasantly surprised. I don't think anybody could have predicted it. That's just me. I don't think anybody would have predicted I don't even know did I even touch it on the last episode? I mean, AJ Duffy has us in the top 4. Matter of fact, he's just recently been crystal balled to Florida State. So now you're talking about Nico and AJ. Could we potentially pull 3 quarterbacks? No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think if MJ Morris decides to commit, somebody's going to drop out of there. One of those 3. But I told you guys, they were going to take 2 quarterbacks. And they're not taking 2 scrubs either. You see what they're doing. They're going 3 legit blue chips right here, man. They're going to get 2 quarterbacks. And right now they have 3 of the better. We already got Nico solid, and they got 2 of the better quarterbacks in the country on the radar. Both pretty much Florida State leans at this point, from everything I'm hearing. The trail is thumping. D. Thompson in the building. Shout out to D. Thompson. I didn't get a chance to shout out him the last episode, but D. Thompson with the donation in the last episode. Wanting to give you a shout out, man. Tell you that I appreciate that. Panama said I heard they out trying to get AJ Duffy, 4-star QB. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's AJ. He has recently been crystal balled to Florida State, man. Yes, they are. I'm excited about offense, but Adam Fullers has no excuses. Papuchas has been getting it done quietly. I like that. Quietly. I think, and rightfully so, I've said Coach Yak is the best recruiter on the staff. But Papuchas did sign 5 defensive ends this last cycle. Can't deny that. Look at what he has already going into next year. Najee Kelly, Hester with a potential to bring on Marvin Jones Jr. I mean, man. Oh, and by the way, in that 2023 class, he already has 2 guys. And Lamont Green, I'm going to just say this right now. Lamont Green Jr. is not even rated right now, but anybody who knows anything about football and who has watched that kid play football knows you're probably looking like at the top 100 kid right there in Lamont Green Jr. He's currently unranked, but everybody and their mama knows that's not going to last very long right there. So the man is, JP is killing it, man. JP is killing it. Go Noles. We need to build the team inside out. That's how Clemson got ahead of us, both sides of the lines. Kane's A, facts. I don't have to work again until Sunday. There you go. Gotta love the 3-day weekend. They are really focusing on that South Georgia, which I love. I said it before. We've already seemed to have built this pipeline to Louisiana. Give me Louisiana, give me Georgia, and baby, give me South Florida, and I ain't got nothing else to worry about. Just give me the whole state of Florida in general. Florida, Georgia, and Louisiana. I don't need to recruit anything. I guess we can dip in Texas every now and then if we need to. But that's it. That's really all we need to recruit. And that seems to be where they're putting all their resources in. JP has totally flipped the DN problem. Now people are complaining there's no such thing. You can't have too many defensive ends. You can't have too many offensive linemen. At this point, if you aren't following Florida, the trend here, we got a bunch of fans that are going to complain regardless. Man, I do miss Lake County, Florida more than ever right now. It's snow here in VA. Stay warm, Jose. Stay warm. 2022 recruiting is a long way to go, way early. How did you do for 2021? You got to get out. You got to win to get a good. Well, we finished stronger than I think we thought we would in 2021. Still had a top 25 class in 2021. Show me a team that could lose 9. Well, where do we go? 3-8, 3-9. Show me a team that can only win 3 games and still finish in the top 25. So you, John, I know you like to come in here and try to rain on the parade. And you're right to some degree. We definitely got to win to hang on to them. It is early, but the same way you can say it's way too early to be talking about recruiting, it's way too early to even be talking about the schedule. Yeah, and I see a lot of people talking about the schedule and trying to predict wins and losses. Look, it's all about momentum. I completely agree. You got to win football games, but the fact that they are showing that they can build momentum, that they can build relationships, they can get these kids to commit. These kids are believing in something to commit. Okay, these kids ain't just committing just to commit. Mike Norvell's showing them something. Even after only winning 3 games, he's convincing them of something. Let me ask you a question. What is Miami's 2022 class looking like? I think your guys got like 2-3 stars. That's it. I'd rather be in a position to have him than not. Does he have to win? Absolutely. But I'd rather be in the position we are than trying to play catch up later on down the line. And by the way, grab your drink, man. If you ain't sipping on something, put your drink of choice in the chat tonight. It was Odell who recruited George Wilson, Patrick Payton, and Byron Turner. Now, I know Odell was firmly linked in with George Wilson. Turner out of Louisiana, I have to believe Coach Yak had a lot to do with that one. That's the Louisiana pipeline that I've been talking about. And as far as Payton goes, that may have been Odell, may not. Odell's not really known for dipping into Miami like that, so I'm not sure how accurate that is that Odell recruited Payton. Could definitely be wrong there. Regardless of who you say recruited who, they know who their position coach is going to be regardless. They had to have some type of liking on Coach JP to want to play for the man. Okay? You can say who recruited who, but at the end of the day, they know who they're going to be coached by. They had to like that. Got to give JP credit. If you don't think JP had anything to do with recruiting a bunch of defensive ends, well, you're just not giving credit where it's due. For the 2022 QB class, we only need 2 or 1, but it depends on Chuba. I think we need 2 regardless. because you're going to lose Milton. Because in 2023, you're going to go into that season with only 3. So you need, I would prefer to have 5. Okay. The thought process is somebody's transferring after this season. I don't think Travis is going to transfer because he's already transferred once. I don't see it happening again. A lot of people think either Purdy or Rodemaker is going to be gone. Whoever doesn't solidify their roster spot, a lot of people think they might be out. I think you got to take 2 to be safe. Gabriel Harris, Denzel Morris, Tavian Smith are all package deals. They all came up together playing ball and all wanted to attend the same university. There you go. We'll see. We'll see. What do you think of our schedule next year? I think it's favorable early and tough down the stretch. Gabriel Harris ranked 85th. Moore wants to commit. His parents want him to visit first. And NCAA just extended the dead period to May 31st, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. So that's bad news as far as the getting kids on campus. We got Sabbath on staff now. We sure do, Island Boy. He's a good one right there. They made a couple good hires this past week. I talked about one. I did not talk about Sabbath, but made a couple good hires this past week. Only time you go north is recruiting the O-line. Duffy apparently has a good relationship with one of our new hires. I think we're in the mix for a lot of these. Duffy, Morris, all of these kids. FSU won't happen. What happened to pass rushing defensive ends? DeMarcus Walker, Brian Burns, Mario Edwards, Christian Jones. Where are sacks at? We're going to try to get back to it. Out of those names, really only DeMarcus Walker and Burns were big-time sack guys. And Christian Jones played more linebacker until they moved him down. I'm happy they're thinking ahead as a coaching staff on the recruiting trail. You can never recruit, and that's the key, man. You got to get in on these kids early and build the relationships, if nothing else. That's the key. Okay, you hold on to that, John. You hold on to that. What I'm saying is that players weren't always recruited by their position coach. Manuel was recruited by Odell, not Jimbo. Odell's known for being in that Virginia area, so I understand what you're saying. But, I mean, Winston was recruited by Damian Craig, not Jimbo either. But guess what? They both knew who they were going to be being coached by and playing for. They wanted to play with Jimbo, but you're right. I get what you're saying. Tyler says he's drinking Coppertail Night Swim. It's a porter. Here goes Tyler with the exotic beers. I've never heard of that. I've never even heard of that. If the Noles had the opportunity to take a stud, a one-and-done left tackle or D tackle, which one would you take? I know it sounds crazy, but I go with the D tackle. Got more faith with the offensive coaches versus defense. Interesting take there, Philly. I kind of get where you're coming from. You feel like you got a lot more faith that Atkins will find an answer at that tackle spot than you do of Odell finding an answer. I don't 100% agree with you. Me personally, give me that left tackle. I think D tackle has a lot of depth, personally. I think Farmer's going to play a bet. I'm getting more and more convinced with the more and more I keep hearing about Joshua Farmer that he's going to play more of a role his freshman season than I think I even expected. Even at 270, 275, 280, I think he's going to be in the mix there. While I have Lloyd Willis as a dark horse, that's a complete unknown commodity. If I could take a legit, like you said, if I could take a stud, that key word being stud, one and done, I'm taking that left tackle because to me, if I can protect Mackenzie Milton's blind side, oh, buddy, I think that whole offense just might blow up to something that I don't know. Call me crazy. If I can protect Mackenzie Milton's blind side, move Love Taylor to guard, already got a freshman All-American at center. I'm pretty confident in Lucas at the other guard, and I already got another freshman All-American at the other tackle. Yeah. Yeah. With Mackenzie Milton back there. Yeah. You might be talking about a legit top 10 offense. And if that's the case, if you're talking top 10 offense, you're talking about winning a lot more than 8. You're talking about winning 8 games would almost be a disappointment at that point. You're talking about winning a lot of games. You're talking about competing in the ACC after 1 year of being a 3-win team. Now, again, the key word was stud. So I'll slow down a little bit, but I think you just need a competent player there. And then let's talk about getting to 7-8 wins and complete and filling out this roster. But a stud, oof, I don't know, man. What about that linebacker that entered the portal from Alabama, Ben Davis? Do you think FSU should go after him, or is we good? Brian, I don't know. I think the staff still thinks we're good. The lack of linebacker recruitment has been a little baffling to me. Not gonna lie. And I can only assume that they are confident in what they have at that position. I don't think FSU's gonna go after him. Drinking some Amsterdam with good bud. 904. You know, Polk, I don't think either one will be gone. Reason why is Tate Rodemaker. I think he might think he's better than Chuba, vice versa. Whoever loses that QB battle probably will transfer. That's what I think. I think they're going to compete it out, and then whoever loses, I think, is going to end up going, which is why I think it's pivotal we take at least 2. Rodemaker might decide, you know what, maybe the D1, not D1, but the Power 5 isn't, he might go to a Group of 5 school. And if Purdy's beat out, who knows? Maybe he goes back to Arizona or something. I believe he was committed to Louisville before everything else, so who knows? AR in the building, what's going on? Shout out to AR. Shout out to Matt Ryan. Top 10 quarterback of all time, according to AR. Sabbath was definitely a good get. The only prediction I can make for the Canes in recruiting, we will have the best secondary in 2 years. Ooh, big time prediction. He said that Miami Hurricanes will have the best secondary in the next 2 years. Jordan Travis should move to receiver. Isaac, what's going on? They're going to move him somewhere. Or they're going to use him in multiple positions, but I think they're going to keep him listed as quarterback. A lot of people were saying we're taking too many defensive ends, but most of them will either be converted to D tackle. So we know for a fact that two of the 5 we took this year will be playing defensive tackle, in Chambry and Joshua Farmer. So technically we signed 5, probably 3 of them are going to be true defensive ends. And there's the potential that Patrick Payton, that they are talking about using him as a legit stand-up linebacker as well. So you can't have too many defensive ends. People are just finding too many things to complain about. Beer ain't exotic. It's brewed right here in Tampa. Well, it sounds exotic. What was it called again? Coppertail Night Swim. What make you think that coaching, players, or both? PSA, don't take the vaccine. I know a few people have taken it with no issues, but everybody's body's gonna. That's with any vaccine, but I'm not here to tell you don't take it or take it. Do your research and do what you want to do with that. How come FSU receivers are not really making an impact in the league, except for Benjamin for a little while? Even Rashad Green not doing anything in the NFL. Well, Kelvin Benjamin could have been a really good wide receiver. He didn't have the work ethic to be in the NFL. Pretty much showed up every offseason out of shape. Rashard Green and Kenny Shaw. I can't think of any other guys that Auden Tate is a very good number 2 wide receiver in the league right now. I think you can't really just gloss over Auden Tate. He's doing his thing in the NFL right now. But I wouldn't say FSU's really produced any legit NFL talent at that position in recent years. Wanda, we talking about whatever. FSU's been pretty hot on the trail tonight. This up last week. Lamont Green Jr. has committed today, early this morning. Gabriel Harris committed yesterday. These are all 2023 kids, so we'll pump the brakes a little bit, but they got a lot of good momentum on the recruiting trail. That's pretty much what we're talking about, and of course, it's a Friday night, so we talking about whatever. Alabama has 2 linebackers that hit the portal this week. Did you see Estes moving that weight? He's a strong one. He's a strong one. Brandon Moore at corner. I like him. I think when we first took him, I wasn't happy about Moore just for the numbers. I felt like, why are we taking another DB when we got other pressing issues, right? Linebacker, offensive line. But I said it before and I'll say it again. He's probably if he's that knee's right, he's probably the best corner we took in the portal. Legit day one starter. I mean, the guy had like a 3rd round grade at UCF. He's probably the best corner on the roster, I think. Come on, POLK. Freshman O-line. What are you talking about now, John? They were freshmen last year. They're not going to be freshmen this upcoming year. How many freshmen All-Americans did Miami have last year on their offensive line? Did y'all have any All-Americans on your offensive line? I'm only asking the question. If they were good enough to be freshman All-Americans last year, you don't think that development is going to continue? You don't think they're going to get better? That they're just going to stay stagnant? John, you got to try better. Try better with the trolling, man. If Willis is in shape, would be happy with him starting. They're recruiting the kid. I talked about him earlier. For the 2022 class, they got a running back on their radar. If Tate Rodemaker could get some type of confidence, I think he could really be good. And, of course, fix his mechanics. Nothing against Rodemaker or Purdue. But they're going to have to compete, show something this spring, or Dillingham is going to keep the trail on fire with the future quarterbacks, kind of like Georgia running back with Sonny Mitchell and Nick Chubb. Moore is fully healed. Alabama players, Ben Davis. I was tracking Ali, Caho, however the hell you say his name. Who do you believe will be our number 1 receiver? I think it's going to be Parchment. I think we'll start the season with Parchment. It wouldn't surprise me if as time and all that stuff went on, pays on the merge, but I think you're going to start the season off with Parchment as your number 1 receiver. So, yeah, I think you're going to start with Parchment as your number 1 guy. What up, Kusami? There's no way. If Keyshawn Helton's our number 1, I have a big time problem with that. I have a big time problem if Keyshawn Helton is the number 1 go-to receiver. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Unless you're talking a special talent, in which Keyshawn isn't a special talent. He's a good player, but he's not a special talent. Unless you're talking like a T.Y. Hilton or a 5'10" receiver, man, cannot be your number 1 target. He just can't be. Tyreek Hill, T.Y. Hilton, like those guys are once. Come on. Show me an NFL receiver at 5'10" who's the number 1 receiver for his team. Again, I just named 2. I'm not even sure how tall is Tyreek. I know T.Y. is only like 5'9", 5'10", T.Y. Hilton. I think Tyreek Hill is like the same height. Name me another 5'10" receiver in the NFL that's the number 1 receiving option for his team. It doesn't. No. Keyshawn can't be the number 1 guy. It's not a knock on Keyshawn, man. He just can't be the number 1 guy. He can't be the number 1 guy. We need a legit size and length out there at that number 1 position. Also, they said Parchment was in town just visiting and will be at FSU in May. Okay. I saw the tape of him catching passes. Estes is a future starting center. I agree there. Ontario should play slot, and I agree there. Miami Flow in the building. What is up? I've seen your videos, man. I appreciate you showing up and supporting. I know all the Miami guys know Miami Flow. I've seen his videos out there. Thank you for the support, man. And go Nose. Don't come on here with that Go Cane stuff. Go Nose. But shout out to Miami Flow for popping in and showing some love. Antonio Brown. Okay, yeah, but he's Helton ain't no Antonio Brown either. And Antonio Brown definitely used to be a number one. Okay, so that's 3. So I named 3. Out of 32 teams in the NFL, we named 3. So shout out to Antonio Brown. So Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton, and Tyreek Hill are the 3, 5, 10 receivers, number 1 caliber type receivers. So yeah. Would not surprise me. I expect Brian Robinson to hit the rotation hard. Do you hear anything about the Michigan QB transfer coming here? No, I heard nothing about that. We don't need another quarterback transfer. So no, I haven't heard anything about that. Anybody know what Williams talking about? Did you hear anything about Michigan QB transfer maybe coming here? Anybody hear that? I have not. Pope, what do you think about the QB from Michigan? Oh, I think this is what Jose's just asking. He wants to transfer to FSU, has 3 years left. He's from Olympia in Orlando. He's a 4-star. Okay, well, I haven't heard about that. But, okay, if he has 3 years left, that makes a little bit more sense. But Mike Norvell had a key interview today with the boosters. I don't know if anybody saw that. War Chant did have it on their YouTube channel. So go watch that, where he's pretty adamant. And if you remember, he was pretty adamant when he first took the job that he's not a real transfer portal guy. And he said he reiterated that in his little interview today. He's not trying to build this team through the portal. He felt like this was a good time this year. Everything kind of aligned up correctly, and he did all of that. But he was not trying. He's not trying to make that the norm. Quite frankly, if Joe Milton wants to come here, I think he would be a 3rd or 4th option. Okay, so FSU has Nico already. Let's say we miss out on AJ Duffy, we miss out on MJ Morris, then I think you would take Joe Milton as that second quarterback. But if I had to guess, they're gonna hit the high school ranks hard first. They want to coach and groom their own high school kid before they start trying to dig into the transfer ranks again. That'd be what I'd do. Nothing against Joe Milton, but he would be the last resort, in my personal opinion. What happened? I don't know. Something happened, guys? Do you think any one running back will get a bulk of the carries? I think they're going to distribute them like they did last year. I mean, even when you look at Norvell at Memphis, I mean, they distributed them. I don't know, unless somebody just emerges as a dominant, I think it's going to be very similar to last year. I know Toafili needs to touch the ball at least 15 to 20 times a game. Yes, sir. What up, Pope? What up, Serve? Yeah, they said the facility was open to anyone, so Parchment went and work out with Milton as long as no coaches were around. Interesting. Joe Milton was transferred from FSU to FSU from Michigan. I bet Joe Milton does want to come here. Haven't heard anything about him being a take. There you go. And that's my thing. I don't know if he's a take unless you talk about they miss out on the high school kids. They miss out on the high school kids and Joe Milton's still around and he still wants to come, then I guess. But right now, I don't think he's a take at all. Polk, have you seen the videos from Jason Staples when he breaks down the defense played last season? I'm not sure who to blame, coach or players, for a lot of the mistakes that happened. John Seals, have a good night, man. Appreciate you for showing up. Back to you, Serve. No, I didn't watch. I don't really watch too many other people's stuff. I try not try to give you my own opinions and thoughts on this stuff like that. But again, this goes back to last season. I argue with people all the time. Well, John is old, Rose, so it's past his bedtime. I'm blaming the coach. Now, a lot of people want to blame the players, and we'll see. Again, there's no excuse for Adam Fuller this upcoming year because last time I checked, he's brought in a bunch of his own transfers, and so yeah. Are the transfers all seniors or juniors? So no, actually, we got a couple sophomores. I think the only senior or grad transfer seniors we got Jermaine Johnson, Mackenzie Milton, Brandon Moore. I think Parchment. Parchment's still not official yet until he's actually on field or on campus or whatever. But Parchment, and I think that DB from Arkansas might be a grad transfer, but I'm not too. Oh no, Keir Thomas. Keir Thompson's a grad transfer, and I think that's it. I think those five is all the seniors. Jamie is a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken, from South Carolina. Jamie. DJ Williams was a sophomore. Whatever. I feel like I'm missing another transfer, or maybe I'm not. That might be it. And I think maybe the Arkansas kid. Not too sure what his status is. What's happening, Mr. H? All I want is a tenacious defense that plays with their ears pinned back, like we used to back in the day when them fast gum chewing Mickey Andrews was at the helm. Do you accept Bitcoin? No, Tyler. So I'm just now getting into this cryptocurrency, man. Just now trying to finagle my way around this. I'm learning a little bit. I've got a couple Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but some other cryptocurrencies that Bitcoin's pretty expensive at this, but I know you can buy like pieces of a Bitcoin. But I'm still learning my way around these Bitcoins and some of this other stock stuff. So, what up, Anthony? Polk, do you think we have a chance at Jaron Willis out of Lee County, Georgia? 2022. Look, man, I think if they do what they're supposed to do, I think we got a chance at a lot of these 2022 kids. I said it before and I'll say it again. They win football games. 2022 is going to be a little bit different. Mike Norvell need if Adam Fuller gave up. If Adam Fuller's giving up 40, then you're not winning 8 games. And Adam Fuller shouldn't make it past the 3rd game of the season if that's the case. Would like to see Parchment, Robinson, and Hill day one at wide receiver. Don't disagree there. What I think most likely, 904, what you're going to see day one, most likely I think you're going to see Parchment. And at the other side, you might see Ontario. I think you're going to see Parchment, Ontario, and Hill. And I think they're going to go with more of a veteran group to start. By the end of the season, though, I do think that wide receiver room may change drastically. But I think at the start of the season, they're going to go with some more veteran type guys. So you could see Parchment on one side, Pookie at another side, and Helton in the slot. You might have already answered this in the previous videos, but who are you starting O-line and D-line for the upcoming year? O-line's tough until I see if we can bring in another offensive lineman or not. I'm not too sure. Not too sure about the offensive line. Right now, with who's on the roster. At right tackle, you got to go Robert Scott. Lucas at the right guard. Maurice Smith at center. That left side of the line is where it gets a little questionable for me. What I think they're going to do and what I would kind of try out is two different things. What I expect it to be, I expect it to be Bavion at left guard and Love Taylor at the left tackle. If they can't sign another left tackle in the offseason, I think that's what you're going to go into the season seeing. What I would do is I'd try Lloyd Willis out. I tried Lloyd Willis out at left tackle and move Love Taylor into left guard and just give it a try. Why not? That's what I would want to see. Defensive tackle, I think you're going to see Johnson at one end, Keir Thomas at the other end. I don't know if they're going to play Coop and Lovett together, but I think you see some combination of Cooper, Lovett, and Briggs in that defensive tackle spot, and probably some True Thompson in there as well. Win 8 games in a bowl game, and we lit. Tyler says, I'll donate some of whatever crypto you got. Help out the portfolio. I got, matter of fact, I'll tell you right now. XLM, I think, is what the crypto's called. It's real cheap, so that's why I kind of got into it. Stellar Lumens, yes, Stellar Lumens, but XLM. But again, I'm still working my way around that crypto, man. Trying to learn a little bit. It's crypto and the stocks. I'm starting to try to understand that stuff more. Just read the NCAA is going to come out 2023. Just seen the official date. I hope they let us roster share. Who would you like to see as our defensive coordinator? I don't know. Not Fuller, but I don't know. We'll see. Hard for me to say right now. Oh, I told you before, man, I take a monkey with a clipboard over Fuller right now. So FSU is going to have to score 40 points to win. If that's the case, I already said it. If that's the case, then don't be too excited. How does the transfer portal work as far as when players can transfer? Like, can players transfer during the season, or is there a deadline? Normally, as anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, normally the portal is now the portal was a little different thing this year, where they kind of just, with the opt-outs, they just let people transfer without any repercussions. But on a normal year, I believe you can transfer at any time. However, you'll have to miss the season with for instance, Jordan Travis transferred to Florida State. He had to get a waiver to play that first year. If you don't get that waiver, you're supposed to sit out a year and then play the following year. Right? Normally you can transfer during a season, but you're talking about missing potentially 2 years of football. Now, there's also the waiver will cover certain circumstances, whatever the reason the kid decided to transfer, and that all goes to like a committee, and then they determine whether they're going to approve the waiver or make you sit out. That's kind of how the transfer portal normally works. And schools used to also be able to limit the schools you could transfer to. So like Florida State could tell a kid you can't transfer anywhere in the ACC. That used to be a thing. Or that you can't transfer to Miami or Florida. That used to be a thing that the schools would be able to dictate. And I even think to some degree, the schools could even deny your transfer. If I'm not mistaken, like a school used to be able to tell you that you couldn't transfer. Transfer portal used to be a lot stricter. Now, I think they kind of opened it up where kid wants to enter the portal. They enter the portal. That's another thing that came out in a little interview today. There's not enough spots. I mean, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. A lot of kids just don't have a spot. There's been a lot of bad advice. A lot of kids have transferred. A lot of Division I kids have transferred with no place to play. And the NCAA was supposed to make a decision like a month ago, and I think that it's been extended to somewhere around May. The NCAA is still trying to make this decision on waiving the grad transfer thing, like not counting grad transfers toward the scholarship and stuff like that. There's still some decisions to be made about this transfer portal. Well, that decision was supposed to be made, I think, like a few weeks ago, but it's been pushed to like May, from what I understand correctly. Who is your breakout player on offense and defense? Breakout player. Offensively, I'm going to go off the radar. I'm going to pick a skill. I'm going to say Brian Robinson will break out this year offensively. Defensively is kind of tough. Defensively, I'm going to say Demore Tate. But defensively, a little bit tough for me. But I'll go with Demore Tate just off the rip. Jordan Young, offense. Travis J, defense. I would love to see Jordan Young break out. I just have heard nothing about the kid. I haven't heard anything about him on the tour of duty. I haven't heard anything about him practice. Hopefully that means he's just working and grinding, but I haven't heard anything about him. And Travis J, Travis J breakout. I expect good things from Travis J. That's why I'm not going to pick him because I already expect him to take that jump anyway. How do we see Jordan Travis as a wide receiver backfield on jet sweeps versus Notre Dame? I think they're definitely going to use him in some type of aspect. I think they're going to keep him listed as a quarterback, but I expect to see 10 to 15 plays drawn up for Jordan Travis to either throw or run the ball. I already booked my hotel for the Miami game, just waiting to purchase the tickets. XLM is one of the biggest holdings. There's a lot to like about it. I'll definitely check those ones out, Tyler. Absolutely. Because like I said, I'm trying to get more into this stuff. So I was reading up on Joe Milton. According to what I read, he didn't say anything about wanting to come to Florida State. The columnist is the one who said FSU would be a good fit for him. Got you. You're going to need a lot of sleep after that game. Might as well order the room service. It's going to be a long night. I mean, if you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. The conference can restrict it. I think the SEC that you can't transfer to another SEC school. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think conferences can restrict it. I don't know if it's just the SEC or if it's like the schools in general can just say you can't transfer to these particular schools. I could be wrong too, but that's just how it used to be. But I know for this past year, all those restrictions were lifted. I'm interested to see where didn't he take a job somewhere? I'm interested to see where he ends up. Under the old rule, you could transfer down, but not up or lateral. Right. That's a good point, Panama. So in the old rule, if you didn't want to sit out a year, you could transfer, for instance, to the Division II or the FCS and have instant eligibility. But like he said, you couldn't transfer laterally or you couldn't go up. Leave. I'd rather players transfer than be out there going through the motions because he doesn't want to be out there. I agree with that. What's up, certified shooter? A lot of Miami fans just don't know this game will be a lot closer than they think because I know Warren Thompson didn't want to be there. And he should have left a long time ago. There's no point. There's not point to the NCAA. PS5 needs to break away. I agree, Tyler. And I think the more I keep hearing, listen to some of these interviews and some of the baffling decisions that the NCAA is starting to make and they continue to make, especially the one with so if you don't know, Florida, I believe Georgia, and a few other states. I know Florida's rule, I think, is starting in June or July. Well, players are going to be able to make money off their likeness, but the NCAA still is not ruled on how they're going to go about that. And Florida State has said that they're going to abide by Florida law, not NCAA rule. So when you start talking about that type of stuff, like to your point, Tyler, what point is the NCAA serving but holding back schools and holding back what some of these schools and players are able to do and accomplish? I think it's only a matter of time. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I think within the next 5 years, I'm going to give it 5 years. I don't think the power. I don't think the NCAA is going to have any ruling over the power. If there's one group that can afford to break away, it's the Power Five. And that would not shock me within the next 5 years, the Power Five goes off and does away with the NCAA and does their own thing. I would almost predict it. Saban always said he wouldn't let a former player transfer to the Saints. Saban has always been a very big stiff on the transfer policy. This year you can transfer in. This year you can transfer anywhere you want. Certified. The topic is whatever, bro. I'm just answering questions. It's Friday night. So when we get on these Friday shows, bro, we just talk about whatever. So tonight, man, we on whatever, wherever the conversation leads us. So grab your drink, bro, and just have a good night. Rosa, you know the saying, some of them games like T2I live in the fantasy world, like FSU is going to stay in the dumps. Hey, shout out to T2I. He thinks, according to T2I, that Bama game gonna be a shocker. That's all I'm gonna say. No one's transferring. We're just talking, transfer portal rules and how they used to work and how they work now. Priscilla, what's going on? How are you? Gilbert from LSU transferred to Florida. That's a good get for Florida. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, especially when you lose a guy like Pitts, who was all-world tight end, you get a 5-star. Now, is he gonna be Pitts? We don't know, but you get a 5-star tight end. It's a good get for Florida. The beautiful part about that is Florida's not way ahead of us. Despite their success on field, check the trail. They're not killing it on the trail. They're not to the point where we can't catch up. Florida hasn't been that great. Tired of the Florida Gators giving us 40 burgers. I truly think Travis Hunter will be a freshman All-American off the rip. Travis Hunter has a chance to be a All-American off the rip if he plays like that in year one, but there's no reason why he probably shouldn't. Forget freshman All-American. But maybe I'm just setting the bar too high for him. Everybody in college football knows FSU is a sleeping giant. Absolutely. Can you predict our record or how? I talked about it before, man. I think it's way too early for us to be talking about records in February, especially, to be clear, especially not even knowing the roster's not done yet for Florida State. That's the one reason why I won't predict a record right now. I can give you some general thoughts on what I think. For instance, I think at worst, you need to go at worst 4-2 is the only thing acceptable at worst in that first 6 games. If you go 4-2, I think you're looking at a 7-win, potentially 8-win season. Because I really think that back half of that schedule is very tough. The back half of that schedule consists of Clemson, Miami, Florida, at Boston College, and I think NC State. That's a tough back half. NC State always plays us tough. Playing at Boston College in November, I think is going to be tough. And, of course, you're talking about the 2 rivalries and Clemson. Notice I said the 2 rivalries and Clemson. Clemson's not a rival. I don't care what anybody says. Now, if you're able to go in that first 6 games and you're able to squeak, if you're able to get 5-1, now you're setting up some good stuff. But at worst, you can only go 4-2. Anything less than 4-2 and you're not having a good season. Anything less than 4-2 in that first 6 and you're not having a good season. Florida isn't having a spring game. Yeah, they canceled theirs for whatever reason. Dan Mullen went from wanting to pack the swamp with 90,000 to not even having a spring game. Boy, I tell you. How you feel about us reaching the 100 mil mark? That's awesome. Yeah, good point from Light 'em Up. I'm glad you brought it up. I forgot about it. The boosters, FSU boosters, just announced, I think it was yesterday, that the boosters have reached 100 million in donations, which is they're like 3 or 4 months ahead of what they predicted. So now they're actually predicting more, and they're very excited about not only did we reach the 100 million mark, but I think FSU had dropped below 9,000 in boosters. They picked up 1,000. They're way ahead of schedule on what they're trying to get. I think 13 to 14,000 boosters. They're ahead of schedule. The boosters are turning up at Florida State. Shout out to And you don't have to donate a lot to be a booster. So, that's another thing, man. If you're going to complain and you're not donating money to the university, don't really want to hear what you got to say. But shout out to the boosters, man. And shout out to these guys. 100 million mark. Have we reached that? And it's not only for the football only facility. They're improving all the sports facilities. That's good news. That's definitely good news. Just sitting here drinking on my Crown Royal and listening to my man Polk speak the gospel. Ask what's up, Florida State love in the building. I seen Florida have pads and stuff. And when will FSU? Well, right now FSU is just doing workouts. We haven't reached that. Norvell said today that they're going to start spring practice in March, spring game in April. So Florida's doing all their spring stuff early. FSU's not. We're still on schedule, and then we will still be having a spring game according to everything. The more I hear about UF, the more I think there's a lot of crap going on behind the scenes. Dan Mullen is on his way. How? I hope so. Well, again, I think he got a good coach there. I think he's a bit of a joke on the trail, but I think you have a good coach there. UF just lost. They just lost their best recruiter to Louisville. Yep, absolutely. They just lost their best recruiter. Florida not having a spring game and FSU having one can truly help recruiting because the recruits have to go somewhere to go. And FSU, well, the dead period's closed, so not really, Anthony. The dead period was extended to May. So technically you're wrong. I guess the recruits could pay to go to the spring game on their own dime and be in the stands and, stuff like that. You're right there. Like if they want to go visit on their own, they definitely will be able to. But as far as a recruiting trip in the spring game, yeah, that won't be able to happen. But you make a decent point. Like if the kids still want to come, they'll be able to. Everybody in this chat should be a booster. Donate something. I agree, Tyler. You don't have to be giving, And granted, I don't know everybody's financial situation, so I'm not here to tell you what you need to donate. All I'm saying is you don't have to donate a lot to go to the Seminole Boosters and sign up. You don't have to donate a lot. That Netflix subscription, that could be what you donate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying give up your Netflix. I like my Netflix too. I'm just saying if you pay for some of these other subscription services, you can do something similar. That's all I'm saying. We can renovate some facilities that Jimbo wanted. Yeah. I hope we have more fans in the stadium next year. If they're allowed, I would expect them to. That $60 million facility going to be nice. Question, what happened to that George guy? He was always hurt. You're talking about George Campbell. Yeah, he's nowhere. He transferred to West Virginia. I don't know what he did at West Virginia. And I don't think he's in the NFL. I don't know what happened to George Campbell. But yes, he was always hurt for us. I do not consider Clemson a rival. Why would I? The only thing that made Clemson a rival was the Bowden Bowl when Bobby was coaching against his son. That's kind of what started the rivalry. But if you just look at the history of the two schools, we've owned them for 20 years or since we joined the ACC. Where's the rivalry? Is Coop going to Louis another sign that even Mullen coaches losing faith in him, or just too much speculation on my point? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to Louisville is another sign that they're losing faith. But I gotta say, they're losing coaches. I think another player decommitted from Florida today. Somebody in the chat, I know I saw that today. I can't tell you who the player was. I think he was a 4-star wide receiver, but they had a decommit today and they lost a coach. Something's going on at Gainesville. Sam McCall decommitted. Florida State's now the leader for him, according to his own words. Something's going on over there in Gainesville. I don't know, but I know they had another decommit today too. Here's my prediction. QB, Milton the starter, Purdy backup, Tate is the next man up. So you don't think they're going to be listing Jordan Travis on the QB roster then? Interesting. FSU versus NC State feels like a rivalry. I would call that That's a good point. Like I feel like the NC State could be more of a rivalry than Clemson. Now, in recent years, I got it, but it seems like we always ended up losing to NC State when we had no business, and that game has always been a kind of a pain in our ass. Mullen setting up to go to the NFL, similar to Florida versus LSU. The year FSU won the Natty, that game set the tone for the rivalry because that was supposed to be Clemson year. Dabo's still hurt by that. I agree with you there as far as Dabo. Dabo has, ever since that game, Dabo has tried his best to embarrass FSU whenever he gets the chance. Because you're right. That was supposed to be Clemson year. They had won the season opener against Georgia. They had Sammy Watkins. They had Taj Boyd. They were supposed to be the cream of the crop in the SEC. And not only did we beat them, but they embarrassed them. They embarrassed them in Death Valley, prime time, with everybody watching. They embarrassed that team. My favorite part of that game is still Nick O'Leary, trucking buddy, staring them down. That was just salt on the wound. They embarrassed that squad. And Dabo's never been the same after that. You could almost say that was the worst thing that happened to Florida State, because that woke up that giant, and Dabo has been a monster ever since. So yeah, but I still don't consider it a rival. Tough game, yes, but I just don't consider them a rival. And maybe I'm wrong. Like Tyler says, every team we don't like is not a rival. Florida State has 2 rivals, technically 3. In the old ACC, I'll give Virginia a rival because at least that Virginia game we used to actually play for a trophy. And Virginia, I believe, was the first ACC team to beat Florida State. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. I think Virginia was the first ACC team to actually hand Florida State an L. So it kind of made sense for that game to be considered a rival. But ever since we split and we don't play Virginia as often as we used to, we got 2 rivalries, man. We got the Lizards and the Tropical Storms. Those are our 2 rivals. Sean Rusty committed from Florida today, number 2 in his class. There you go. I told you, man, something's going on in Gainesville. Virginia is technically a rival, yes. Again, and I will give Virginia that because they play for the Jefferson Epps Trophy. That used to, so I give them that, and because there's a trophy involved there. So I'll give them that. Certified shooters. As much as all 3 players are Norvell's guys, I think Jordan Travis will not go away. I don't think Jordan Travis is not going away that easily either. Clemson will always be little brother. That Clemson game ruined Boyd's career. He was the Heisman candidate with the franchise QB upside, but after that game, you never heard from him again. I know he went to the Jets, but you're right. You never heard from him again. Never heard from him again. 63 people in here on a Friday night. Hit that like button. We in here chilling, vibing. Grab your drink. Light it up if you got it. And we just talking about whatever. So whatever you want to talk about, man, put it in the chat and we gonna talk about it. One of the best parts of them Clemson beatdown in 2013 was hearing Chris Fowler have to give the Noles due credit, even though he hated every minute of it. Yeah, I think that was the game, man, for me that I think after that game, I think we all kind of knew, man. I think I would say after that Clemson game, I think we all kind of knew where that season was headed. Even maybe the most pessimistic of Florida State fans. You knew there was no one else on the schedule that was going to do anything. You just knew it. I think after that Clemson game, the only thing you worried about was, will we have another NC State type game like the year prior? We go into NC State and lose that game. But that team just continued to blow teams out. I remember, man, and I really wanted Bama that year. I remember the Bama chants. We wanted Bama very badly that year. Instead, we got Bama's little brother in Auburn. But I think after that Clemson game, man, I don't think anybody – I think all of Florida State Nation knew that was the year. The only scare we had that year was that Boston College game. And that wasn't even a scare. We ended up blowing them out. But they kept it real close for a half. I believe they have packages for GT, but I don't see him starting again. I believe if he would have started JT last year, then we would have. I think if Milton goes down, I think they'll be more comfortable starting, JT again. But as long as Milton healthy, I agree. I don't think you'll ever see Jordan Travis start, at least for this upcoming year. 2023 is going to be interesting. But that's why I've said that before. Like, if Purdy doesn't win the job in 2023, let's say he loses the JT in 2023, I think Purdy might as well transfer, because I don't see him ever getting that quarterback job if he can't beat out JT after Milton leaves. I just don't see it. Because again, with Nico, potentially AJ Duffy, potentially MJ, with some of these quarterbacks that are going to potentially be on that roster, if Purdy doesn't do it, then he's not going to do it. I heard from him, I think he was responsible for the big win against Ohio State. I think he was responsible for the big win against Ohio State. FSU still raining threes on Virginia. Shout out to the basketball team. I can't wait for the tournament to start. What up, Pat? Sean Ross already has offer from FSU, and I meant the number 2 quarterback in 2023 class, Sean Russ. 2024 QB Taylor Arnson could be legit. 2024 is a long time away, but Miami got at least 7 rivals. Do y'all? Well, that's because y'all played in the Big East. So obviously, playing in the Big East, you were going to have those Big East rivalries. I know Notre Dame's considered a rivalry for you guys. I think Boston College is considered a rivalry for you guys. Of course, Florida and Florida State. Those scripted drives with Travis always got us points. But it was after it was after the defense was able to figure out what the hell we were doing. Then you know, OG Kane was going on. Notre Dame, we play them like a rival. I don't count Notre Dame as a rival. Man, I feel you though. We've had some big time epic games with them. On the road, all right, OG, stay safe out there. Just stay safe out there, man. What else should we got tonight? What's up with the 2022 recruit Duffy? Is everyone still saying Arizona State when they're... Because majority of the crystal balls are still for Arizona State. I just don't think people have updated their crystal ball picks yet. But he picked up a crystal ball for Florida State. And again, Arizona State's not even in the top 4. Why Miami and UF don't play every year? That's a question that you're going to have to ask the Gators. If you ask Miami, the Gators are running, which I tend to agree. I don't think the Gators wanted that smoke every year. They should play every year. I don't know why all the big 3 schools don't play every year. Miami and Florida should play every year. In my opinion, we have 2 rivals, Miami and Florida. FSU, UF, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. That's a rivalry for you guys. Wow. Vitek, BC, and Cuse. So I'm no Hurricane fan. But if it was me, the only people I would consider on that list a legit rival, honestly, would probably be FSU, Vitek, and Boston College, maybe. UF, you don't even play them every year, but you guys do play for the so-called Seminole War Canoe. So, okay, you can keep UF just off of hate alone, even though you guys don't play every year. I got it. Notre Dame, it's another team that, how often do you guys really play? Like, I don't know, man. Oklahoma, when's the last time y'all played the Sooners? Why is that even a rival? I don't know. If Adam Fuller is fired, who takes over? Remains to be seen. We got to see who's fired and who's available at that time. JR, what's up, man? Talking about whatever. You know how we do on a Friday night? Pick something, put it in the chat, and we're going to talk about it. Like I said, I don't drink heavy, but drinking Arizona green tea on a basketball game with... Drinking Arizona green tea. Hey, I like Arizona green tea. Nothing wrong with that. And that basketball game was nasty, Wanda. Miami versus Florida, not a rivalry anymore. I kind of agree with you. They don't play enough. You feel me? They don't really play enough for you to sit here and go, that's a rivalry game. And then when y'all do play, one of the things to me that has always made FSU, to me, Florida State has. Hold on, let me get my playlist back. Get the music back on in the background. All right. One of the things that made Florida State has the best rivals in all of college football. Why? Because to me, no two rivals have met more in the national championship, the big college football scope, than FSU Miami and FSU Florida. The winner of those games in the 90s, in the 80s, in the early 2000s, I mean, they were going to national championships. They were winning it all, period. You can't say that about Michigan, Ohio State. You can't say that about, I know everybody loves Auburn, Alabama, and I get it. That they have a different level of hate. But until, the last 10 years, Auburn wasn't even a good football program. So to me, it's Florida State, Miami. Those are the two top rivalries in all of college football. And of course, FSU's involved in both of them. And just look at the level of talent on the field especially those teams in their heyday. Look at the level of talent on the field. We're talking about guys like Deion Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Ray Lewis, Javon Curse. I'm trying to think of some Florida players. That's why I'm struggling. I got Emmett Rice, Javon Curse, Fred Taylor, and of course go Frank Gore, McGahee, Warwick Dunn. Like, just the level of talent on those teams was absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. And I don't know if it'll ever be. I don't think those rivalries will ever be mirrored or duplicated. Do you record anything as a podcast? If so, where? I'd be down to listen to this stuff while driving. So I got to upload them, but you can follow me on Podbean and Spotify. But I only have one. I haven't uploaded the other two. I've been lacking on my on uploading them on those two platforms. But I am on Spodbeam. I am on Podbean and Spotify, man. What up, Giuseppe? Catholics versus convicts still don't sit well. It shouldn't sit well, but you know what the driving force of that narrative was back then. Miami versus Florida rivalry is like, well, UCF versus Miami be a rival. Right. Just because you're in the same state. But the rivalry has never meant anything. Absolutely. At least not in recent times. UF is still a rivalry. It's the FSU. Man, what word is that? Not even Schadenfreude game. Wanda Smith just read something today about natural organic green tea helps fight off COVID. Really? Hey, there you go. Don't worry about a vaccine, man. Go drink you some natural organic green tea. There you go. Gators are scared of us. Anybody notice U.S. never scheduled a non-conference game away from home? No, you're absolutely right. That's been my biggest criticism of Florida. You look at Florida State. I mean, just look at what we got coming up, okay? We've got LSU, Georgia, and Alabama on our non-conference schedule, okay? Bama has scheduled teams like Michigan and USC. Miami has scheduled LSU and Florida in recent years, and they got Bama coming up. When's the last time we saw Florida playing a big-time non-conference game to start the season in a neutral site? They don't do it. Florida versus Georgia. That's probably a big rivalry for them. Oh, I guess you didn't like my comment saying I got money on Nico Marchio 2023 for that QB spot. Oh, no, I didn't even pay attention to you, certified. But 2023 is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. But Nico's been my guy for 5-6 months now, so that wouldn't make me mad at all. In the 80s and 90s, even in the 2000s, the state of Florida ran college football, no questions asked, without a doubt. Ohio State and Michigan mattered like 100 years ago. Thank you. That crap mattered in the 60s, in the 70s. Ohio State and Michigan hasn't mattered in 20 years, and that's a fact. But that's to me, that's the most overrated rivalry in all of sports. Ohio State and Michigan. It's just two big time, big money schools, so I get it. But what the rivalry actually has meant and stood for and has meant in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean a damn thing. I got 2 Michigan coworkers who claim FSU was a rivalry since back in the day. They didn't like that Orange Bowl. They didn't like the fact that we came into Michigan and whooped that ass either. But no, we're not Michigan ain't no damn rivalry. FSU versus Miami is what rivalry games want to be. What makes a rivalry in your opinion? Well, obviously playing every year. Again, Miami and Florida State is such a unique rivalry because all these kids play Pop Warner. These kids play Little League. Kids play high school. These kids know each other. And when you can keep the talent in state, that makes that makes the rivalry unique. And that's what we were doing in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. These kids were staying home and they were playing each other coming up through the years. So number one, proximity. Proximity makes a rivalry. So obviously Florida State, Miami, Florida, all different layers of the state, right? North Florida, Gainesville's more central Florida-ish, and then South Florida. So we got all 3 layers of the state. That makes the rivalry. Number 2, anybody can have a rivalry. So LSU and Arkansas can be a rivalry, or whatever. Georgia and Georgia Tech is technically a rivalry, right? That proximity, they fall in there. But now it takes it to the next level. What does that rivalry mean? Are you just playing for bragging rights? For 100 years, Auburn and Alabama was just played for bragging rights because Auburn had how many national championships Auburn have in the history of their program? How many times has Auburn and Alabama played and that game meant national championship or nothing? A handful of times, and all of those times probably being in the recent years. Mississippi State and Ole Miss, big time rivalry in that state, right? But how many times has that rivalry ever meant anything in the national scheme of things? How many times has Texas and Texas A&M ever really meant anything as far as who's going to be called the kingpins of college football? USC and UCLA right there in the same city. But how many times has that rivalry ever really meant anything? And that's my point. Proximity makes a rivalry. And then what are you playing for? And there's no 2 schools or 3 schools, because I'm putting Florida in the mix. There's no 2 or 3 schools that can say in a consistent basis the winner of that game was a national championship or at least played in it more so than FSU Florida and FSU Miami. That's what makes it the greatest rivalry in all of college football. Those 3 games, or 2 games. For us, those 2 games. The Gators are cowards in general. They didn't want any of FSU last year and voted against playing ACC rivals. That's why I would own only 2 rivalries we have is Miami and Florida. That's it. Clemson does not have that history yet. You're right. Clemson and South Carolina, right? That's a big time in-state rivalry. The proximity gives it that. But that's not a top rivalry in any way, shape, or form. When have they ever played for anything? That game is always nationally televised. Both teams could be 3-3, still be a big game. David Cooper is leaving Florida to take the recruiting coordinator position at Louisville. We talked about that one, Tyler. I love Norvell at the booster meeting saying that like the transfer portal, but he don't want to lean on it, but he want to lock down Florida, South Georgia, high school recruits in the future. Talked about that too, light him up. Exactly. He made a point to say, look, we dipped into the portal. That was cool, but the goal is to build this thing through the high school ranks, and that should be the case. And again, Florida, Georgia, and Louisiana, those are the 3 states all I'm worried about. Shodden, fraud. A, taking pleasures in others' misery. There you go, encyclopedia. Teach me something. I learn something new every day, brother. Bro, everybody wants to be FSU's rivalry. Ain't that something? Why they call them blue bloods then? There's an interesting little recent little let me see if I can find it. See if I can find it, and I'll even bring it up on the screen if I can. There was a recent little what would you call it? Image of the blue bloods. And you know, FSU, here it is. I'm gonna bring this up. Let me bring this up. I want you guys to see this. These, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 teams that are considered true blue bloods of college football. These 8 teams are Alabama, Michigan, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas, and USC. FSU has a winning record against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the blue bloods. We have winning records of five of the what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the 8 blue bloods FSU has a winning record against, but somehow we're not considered a blue blood of college football. I'm gonna just bring this little graphic up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. No, not that. Yeah, is it that? Share. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. I'll let you guys look over that for a little bit while I read some more of the comments. But those teams are considered the blue bloods, and this is all those teams have losing records. All these teams have losing records to these teams. And again, there's one team that stands out, and it's Florida State. Did you see that interview with AP and Sharp? Mac Brown really effed up that recruitment up. He was going to start Cedric Benson over Adrian Peterson. I didn't see the whole interview, but I did see where he said he was down to picking Oklahoma or USC, which would have been crazy if he would have chose USC. Could you imagine Adrian Peterson and Reggie Bush being on the same team? Polk, what do you think we're going to do about the COVID situation? Continue to test every week or encourage all the kids to take the vaccine and possibly not have to test? You know what, Panama? I have no idea what they're going to do with COVID. If you want my personal opinion, and this has nothing to do with football in general, I think COVID's here to stay. And I don't think that's breaking news to anybody, but I think eventually we're going to have to get to a point where we're just going to have to learn to live with this thing, like the flu, like the cold. I honestly believe that. I think COVID is just going to be a part of everyday life, and that people just may catch it. That's really the way I look at it. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. The Iron Bro really just decides if Alabama ends up in the national championship. Again, in recent years, yeah. I get the hate for that rivalry, but you know. Danny Velez, what's up? Auburn has one natty with Cam and maybe another with Bo Jackson, but that's it. Maiden Day, what's going on, man? The way the Knowles scheduled non-conference games, especially back in the day against anybody, anywhere, and yeah, they beat teams at their place. Absolutely. That's where all that, anytime, any place, anywhere, we started that. Notre Dame versus FSU is more of a rivalry than Clemson. I agree with that, Rose. Plus, a rivalry has to go both ways. Can't just be dominated by one side. Todd Pope, man, hope you're staying warm. How you doing? FSU always has a rivalry with the Canes and the Gators. What makes a rivalry? Hatred, pain, joy, bragging rights, fans, proximity, the fact that kids know each other since Pee-wee. I wish the term blue bloods would die, like it's meaningless at this point. You can have the blue bloods. Canes were the outlaws, the renegades. Everybody talks about Alabama, Clemson. Yeah, the forces or hate against FSU is strong. What is the graphic we're looking at? Basically, the graphic we're looking at, Brandon, is these are considered the traditional 8 blue bloods of college football. These are the 8 teams that should be considered real blue bloods. And of these 8 teams, FSU has a winning record against 5 of them. So why is FSU not considered a college football blue blood? Oh, and by the way, all of these teams probably has like a 30 to 40 to 50 year head start on FSU's football program. I don't even know why Nebraska is even considered a blue blood anymore. But, I'll take this graphic off. AP said he crossed out Texas when Matt Brown said he wouldn't be able to compete at the running back spot. For Cedric, AP Bush and Lindell White is fire. He could have won a title for sure. Absolutely. Most of these have been doing worse than FSU. Y'all not ready for that talk yet. No, you're absolutely right. If you were to go back to that little graphic, outside of Bama and Ohio State, Oklahoma's kind of hit or miss. But when's the last time Michigan was relevant? We know Nebraska has fallen off the map. Notre Dame's about hit or miss. They'll be good, but no one ever really considers Notre Dame to compete on a big time level, if we're being honest. Texas has fallen off the map since Mac Brown, and USC has fallen off the map since Pete Carroll. Matter of fact, FSU has won a national championship more recent than every team on that list, with the exception of Ohio State and Alabama. Ain't that crazy? Right. A lot of these teams been around since they integrated the sport. I don't know. It's hard to take a lot of them teams serious. Since when was Blue Bloods a football thing? I thought it was a college basketball thing. Well, apparently it's a football thing too. Yeah, that's what I think. COVID here to stay. I agree, Wanda. I don't think the vaccine's gonna get it done. I just think 20 years from now, we'll still be talking about it. Do I think we'll be wearing masks 20? No, I think we're gonna get to a point where we're just gonna understand that it's an everyday thing, and that certain type of people are more susceptible to it, whether that's elderly or people with preconditions. Michigan is only 3.5 hours relevant when they play Ohio State. That's about it. Michigan was pissed that they missed out on the rematch with Ohio State in 2006. So am I. One less UF title to talk about. Do you feel like AP got snubbed out of the Heisman and Doak Walker? Is that you talking about the year that Reggie won it? Are there any Nebraska fans under 6? No, I don't think so. Absolutely not. We got more championships than some of those teams, and we started making noise in the 80s. You're not wrong. I'm talking about Miami. Not wrong. Again, I'm just talking about Florida State, and we started our program far after a lot of those teams. So, living in Texas, it drives me nuts that all these Bevo fans think they sit in that on the big kids table. Other than Vince Young, they haven't won since the 70s. Good point there. Outside of Vince Young, Texas has vastly underachieved. Certified, it's hard for me to say that he got snubbed. I think Reggie Bush was overrated personally. That doesn't mean that I don't think Reggie Bush wasn't the most electrifying player in college at that time. The reason I say Reggie Bush is overrated, again, because I'm biased. Because to me, Reggie Bush gets talked about as one of the greatest college players of all time. And everything I saw Reggie Bush do, I saw that guy. I say this all the time. That guy behind my shoulder right there did everything Reggie Bush did on a football field. Oh, and by the way, he did it in a and won national championships and did it in the big time games, where Reggie Bush disappeared in the big time games. But number 9 behind me was everything Reggie Bush was, if not more. And you can argue with your mama on that. So, as an overall college player, I've always said Reggie Bush is overrated. But for that season, it's hard to argue that he wasn't the best college football player in the country. But AP definitely had an argument, man. Or AD definitely had an argument. All day, Adrian Peterson definitely had an argument for that. Don't get me wrong. But to this day, to me, Peter Warrick is still the best college football player that I personally watched. Just me, though. Someone will find a cure for COVID. That doesn't mean people won't get it. I just think it'll be like a more advanced version of the flu. Like, we've had the flu forever now. You know what I mean? And there's different vaccines for it, but there's also different strands of the flu. And I just don't think this COVID, it's transmitted through the air too easily. I just don't think it's a way. I just don't think you can get rid of it. Miami is nowhere near Alabama or Oklahoma. I wouldn't say Oklahoma. I get the history of Oklahoma. But Miami has done more in the recent decades than Oklahoma has. So I'll take the nod over Miami. I know that might not be a popular thing to say here, but I'll give the nod over Miami over Oklahoma, personally. Will Texas ever be back? I don't think Texas will be back until they start playing. I think the best thing A&M did was leave the Big 12 and get all that SEC money. If Texas wants to be back, they have to rekindle that rivalry with A&M. That has to be a yearly game that's played that has to mean something. Because until Texas can win back the state of Texas, they won't ever be back. Right now, A&M is now the big dog in that state, which was never the case before. Nebraska has great football culture. There has been some really terrible hires. The last great coach might be Osborne. Scott Frost has potential based on UCF. And Scott Frost has not been good there so far. You're right, nobody. In fact, we're better, way better. Mad respect for Nebraska because they sell out for games, even when they suck. Great fan base. To be kind of, what is there to do in Nebraska other than go to the Nebraska games? You know? I get it, but Florida is the only state where the Big Three schools are multiple national champions. In your opinion, who's the greatest tight end of all time in the NFL? I think it's either Shannon Sharp or Tony Gonzalez. But I've always said this before, and I'm going to say it again. And this guy is a Hall of Fame snub. He's still not in the Hall of Fame. But to me, now I think Sterling was more of a wide receiver. Sterling was more of a wide receiver than a tight end, and I got you. But to me, Sterling Sharp, I would take Sterling Sharp over Shannon Sharp or Tony Gonzalez. But I get it, he was more of a wide receiver, but it's out of those two. Pick your poison, I guess. Both of them were great. Probably, I guess you have to go with Tony just off of the years and different teams he played with. And I don't think Tony Gonzalez ever played with a quarterback like John Elway. So you can give that argument as well. Man, win more titles than Bama, Oklahoma, then talk. I agree. I just hope this year with the vaccine out, we don't have all the interruptions like the past year. Bruh, have you heard about people saying that Zach Wilson is better than Trevor Lawrence? Is he even better than Justin Fields? I'm not sold on a lot of these quarterbacks, and that includes Trevor Lawrence. I know people think he's the next coming of John Elway or Peyton Manning. I think this quarterback class might disappoint. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence personally, but I wouldn't take if you put a gun to my head and said you got to take a quarterback, it would probably be Trevor. I wouldn't take Zach Wilson over him. Not without a home run hire. They've been doing musical chairs with the head coaches since Mac Brown. Just had an argument with my coworkers over Peter Warrick and Desmond Howard. It's not even close. But again, I'm biased. When I start talking about that guy behind me, just know I'm completely biased, and you can go argue with whoever you want to argue with, because you're not going to convince me otherwise. That guy wasn't the best thing I had seen on a college football field. Bama has 18. Oklahoma might mess around and win it all this year. They schedule is cupcake for sure. They'll definitely make the playoffs. Will Nick Saban ever retire? Eventually, eventually retire. What do you? Yeah, Nebraska's flat and a lot of cattle. Yeah, they don't have a lot to do there, so yeah, they're gonna fill up stadiums when it's football season. What do you see is more likely? Napier taking Saban's spot or Herm Edwards taking the USC job? Oh man. I don't think USC would even offer Herm Edwards that job, and I could be wrong, but I don't know, man. That's a push. I don't know, because I believe when Saban calls it quits, Bama's gonna try to go for the biggest name. Bama's gonna go for a Jimbo Fisher, and they won't have any problem trying to pay in Jimbo's buyout. Like Bama's gonna go for Dabo, Jimbo, or somebody like that. My personal opinion. I guess Herm Edwards might be the answer to that question. Texas getting a fire QB in 2022 class. I expect Texas to be back soon. If I'm the Jets, don't draft Zach. Get Smith or trade down and draft Chase. Am I the only person that thinks Sam Darnold is actually a good quarterback? He's just had a terrible situation in New York. That's just me. When will Nick Saban? Who knows? I'm not going to argue with these Miami fans on the No channel. I agree. I think these QBs are overrated. I do. I think they're hyping them up, and I'm not sure you have a franchise guy out of the bunch. If I'm being completely honest, there's no comparison between P-Dub and Desmond Howard. Desmond is fast. Warwick was lethal. Reggie Bush is the best player I've seen on a college football field. Kane Zed, I can't believe you said that out of your mouth. Being a Miami fan, I just can't believe you said that. I know COVID is a worse disease, or worse virus. I get it. I know. I just don't think it's going anywhere, though. You know, have to give the nod to Oklahoma over Miami. Pope, even here recent, I believe they have been to they've been to playoffs, but I'm just saying Miami has a more recent national championship than Oklahoma. That's all I'm saying. Like, they've been to the playoffs and they've played in some games, but Oklahoma hasn't really been able to win them. Texas and A&M got the oil money, though. You don't think Texas got oil money? Well, you don't think Texas got money? Texas is the most – I could look it up right now, but if I'm not mistaken, the University of Texas has the highest revenue of all of college football. I'm just typing richest school in – richest university. Let's put that. Richest university in the U.S. They're second, I think. Harvard is the richest university in the United States, followed by the University of Texas. And A&M is... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A&M is 8th on that list. Texas is actually number 2. So Texas got all the money in the world, baby. Who do you think is the better tape, Harris or Green Jr.? I haven't thought about comparing them. I got to watch them both. With that type of, I gotta watch them, Tyler. Y'all want to watch? Y'all want to watch the tapes? Let me know. Y'all want to watch the tapes? We can bring the tapes up right now. You guys want to watch Harris and Green? What you guys want to do? Peter Warrick and Vic were the 2 best college players I've ever seen personally. Yeah, Vic was nasty too. The mock analysis swear up and down Zach Wilson's the real deal, and he's better than Trevor. Yosemite, hold on. Yosemite Sam needs more wide receivers. Nick Saban will never retire because he's probably already been cloned. Not sure about that, but he was electrifying like Peter Ward. The New York Jets are more Cleveland Browns than the Cleveland Browns now. Was Gus Mills? You damn right it was. That's a damn good hire for UCF. Now, I'll put you the only person. The Jets front office has failed. You're not the only person. The Jets front office have failed Darnold. He's young. He's not Brady. You got to give him. He's not Tom. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady or anything crazy, but Sam Darnold has a ton of talent when I watch him. They just haven't put anything around him. That team has been a disaster since they have had Sam Darnold. It would not shock me if the Jets give up on Sam Darnold and Sam Darnold goes somewhere like the Patriots or something and just blossoms. It would not shock me if Sam Darnold's a Pro Bowl quarterback in the future. If we had the college football playoffs back in the day, how many national? Oh man, that's a great question. We already was playing in them almost every other year in the 90s. Yeah, we probably would have won a few more. Bevo has the largest endowment. Why you hating on Trevor? I understand, bro. Look like sunshine. But the kid can actually play, though. I'm not saying he can't play. I'm not saying he got some arm talent. He's got a big live arm. I'm just not very high on Trevor Lawrence. I just think Trevor Lawrence has kind of been people. I think Trevor Lawrence, if he gets drafted in the problem is he's probably going to be a Jaguar and his career is going to be trash before it ever starts. But Trevor Lawrence could he benefit from like an Aaron Rodgers situation and sit a couple years? I think that'd be the better thing to do with him. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. Maybe it does sound like hate. I can't put my finger on it. I just have a feeling about him. I'm just not high on him. I probably would say he's the best quarterback of the bunch, but I'm not high on really any of these quarterbacks that's coming out personally. What I'm saying is Alabama couldn't buy out Jimbo. I think if they wanted him, I think they would. But I know Jimbo has a massive buyout there, so you're probably not wrong. I just think when it's time and Bama has to replace Saban, they're gonna go try to get the elite of the elite. It's just me though. Texas has its own network. Let's watch the tape and also Duffy. Okay, we'll put the tape up here in a minute. Let me catch up on the comments and I'll pull the tape up. Texas got money, but don't know how to allocate their funds to control Winter Storm from the university. The university probably has enough money to take care of the entire state, and you see what's going on in that state right now. It's actually ridiculous. It's in the government. I'm not going to make this political. I'm not going to do it, but the government should be ashamed, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what's going on there. Everybody should be ashamed. And all my people in Texas, man, stay safe and stay warm to the best of your abilities. I got a lot of buddies. I got a lot of friends there. I used to live there for 6 years, so Texas isn't a bad state to live, but they never had to deal with anything like this before. By 1 year, Miami's last championship. Okay, fair enough. Pope, look up my guy, Harold Calderon, welterweight. When you get a chance, you got to fight tomorrow. Is he fighting on the AB's undercard? What up, Green Bay? I would just point out the fact that Tom Brady wasn't even the Heisman conversation, and he's the best ever. Just Heisman's becoming more of a joke. That's because I was so glad to see a wide receiver win it for the first time in like 30 years. They might as well just rename Heisman the best quarterback award because I'm getting sick of seeing that. A lot of times the best college football player isn't a quarterback, but Nick Saban, great coach, but I think he has done at Alabama is great. But for me, what Bobby Bowden did at 76. So I agree with you. I was actually going to make a video of Bobby versus Nick and why, to me, Bobby Bowden is still the GOAT. I ended up not doing it. I didn't feel like it'd be enough content in it. And this is not a knock on Nick at all. Nick is amazing, especially modern day and what he's been able to do. I give more credit to somebody who built something from the mud. It's like, like, do you give more credit to someone who built, to Bill Gates, who started Microsoft from nothing, or maybe someone that took over a different Fortune 500 or whatever company that maybe was a little down at the time, but it still had the foundation, it still had the base, it still had the name brand, it still had the logo, it still had all of that. They just was able to right the ship. But Bobby literally built what he did from nothing, and made Florida State nationally recognized household name. To me, that holds a little more weight to me. Billionaires own the University of Texas and Texas A&M. The Gus bus replacing Mullen when he leaves, that would be here's the thing. It wouldn't shock me. It would be a solid hire for Florida. I think Gus is going to do great at UCF. I don't know if I worry too much about Gus at Florida. Why you can't believe I said that? I mean, again, just because with all the players that you've seen at Miami, to say Reggie Bush is the best college player you've ever seen I can't agree with that. I just don't agree with that. I don't think Reggie Bush is a better college player than Sean Taylor. I can name a whole list of people. Cam Newton to me was better than Reggie Bush. I could just name a list of college players that when I watched, I thought they were better than Reggie. Reggie Bush was electric, though. Don't get me wrong. But if you look at Reggie Bush and you look at the teams he did it against, when he played the big-time teams, he didn't have the same type of games. But when he played Fresno State, yeah, he put up 500 yards on them. I got you. Pro Scouts was not impressed with Trevor Lawrence. Don't do that to my Jags, Paul. Remember I'm sorry, man, but your Jags are what the Jags are the Jags, and you know that they're always going to be the Jags. Warwick would have won the Heisman if he had not gone on a shopping spree with Coles. Laveranues Coles was the saddest player loss. Was the saddest player loss I've seen at FSU. Yeah, man, Laveranues Coles, Laveranues was actually really good in the pros too. You got to remember, man, that particular Florida State team at one point had Randy Moss, Laveranues Coles, and Peter Warwick. Yeah. Every good QB that has entered the draft since the beginning of time has been called overrated. That's true, too. How much of those 5-star wide receivers help Sunshine look better? That's true, too. There you go. You guys spitting some gospel right now. No, I object, Your Honor. I think Urban Cryer and Trevor Flawless is going to light up and you don't believe that. You Jaguar fans are so funny. No way. But if I was a Jaguar fan, I'd have a lot of hope myself. We got 2 DNs committed. Saban is like Norvell, winning a bunch of titles. Saban is like Norvell, winning a bunch of titles, which I hope happens. But Bowden is still the legend that made Norvell want to be at FSU. Dalvin Cook, Reggie Bush. No, he isn't. His fight won't be televised. Just look him up. Okay, I'll check him out. Maiden Day. Malzahn I think, is the most inconsistent coach I've ever seen. I agree. Adrian Peterson was a monster. He was. I'm going with the thought Trevor Lawrence would be a superstar. I thought Watson was going to be a superstar in his draft before he got drafted. Till this day, I've never got why Chicago drafted Mitch. Let's go to this tape. We're going to look up. Hold on. What's that? We're going to look up Lamont Green Jr. and the other guy, Harris. And see who might be the better prospect for that 2023. That 2023 defensive end class. Right now, and again, this means nothing, folks. Let's be clear. FSU is ranked number 1 in the 2023 class with 3 commits. Lamont Green, Cedric Baxter, who, if you haven't watched that kid's good out of Orlando. and Gabriel Harris. First off, we're going to watch Lamont Green Jr. We're going to watch Lamont Green Jr. Hold on while I share it. Yes, I have not the ad blocker yet. I need to. I know. So we don't have to watch these stupid ads. What's up, only Seminoles? Adrian Peterson said he thinks he could have went. The ad's taking forever. Come on. Man, I don't care about Trulicity. I want to watch Lamont Green. There we go. All right, here we go. We're going to compare Lamont Green and Harris. You see Lamont on the edge. This is sophomore tape, by the way. Look, I'm wearing that 45 just like his pops. He looked like his dad out there a little bit. Damn, he slung it. that would have been a penalty. Jesus. There he is, 45. He got a long stride. Right? He looks like he doesn't look like he's running fast, but he's got a long stride on him. Where he doesn't look like he's moving particularly fast, I think, when you watch him. But he's closing ground. Like, to me, he doesn't look explosive. Oh, right there, he just bulldozed the dude. But he closes distance extremely well, but he doesn't look really explosive to me. But he does look strong. He is violent at the point. You also got to remember, I mean, kid's only, in this tape, he's only 15, maybe? See, like, he closes the distance very good. I just don't think his first step isn't anything to write home about, though. Like, his burst off the line isn't anything special. But he is strong. He just throws blockers all over the field. What's his measurements? 6'4", 210. Oh yeah, he's got so much room to grow. By the time it's his time to commit, you're probably looking at a kid that's 6'5", 6'6", probably 250. Well, 250 might be pushing it. I'll say 230, 220, definitely. But he probably will grow another inch or two. What the hell happened on that play? I'm confused myself. See, this is why I don't really get into the 2023 class tape. Because he's got so much room to grow and improve. What you're watching is just nowhere near close to a finished product right here. I mean, the kid has 2 more years of college football. Of high school football. We're watching here, again, is sophomore tape. That dude still has his junior year coming up. And his senior year, he's going to be a completely different type of specimen. Overall, man, a lot of good things to be excited about, though. And we're going to go watch the other kid. We got about 10 seconds left on this highlight tape, so it should be the last highlight here. Yeah. All right. Let's go watch. Let me check on the see what y'all talking about in the chat, and then we're gonna watch the other guy. Jacksonville Jaguars always draft Florida Gators, play every year. Fred Taylor was good, though. Fred Taylor was good. Mitch Trubisky only got drafted high because of one game. Yeah, he killed Florida State. Damn sure did. Personally, I think Green looks better standing up. In my opinion, Green is a better prospect. Wait till all that training and work ethic pays off. He still kind of has deer legs. I agree there. I think he could be strong side DN that develops into a great pass rush end. Sean Taylor, Patrick Robinson went to that school. Gulliver Prep. Lamont Green Sr. is the head coach. I like how he set up the outside edge on the run. Green Jr. needs to not fall into the complacency that got Edwards Jr. Got caught up in his hype and stopped working. He's still, I don't think that's going to happen. Norville Central, what's going on? How you doing, man? Shout out to Norville Central for coming here showing some love. Yeah, I follow him. If you don't, yeah, man, go follow Norville Central on Instagram and Twitter. Absolutely. Anthony Edwards caught him body tonight. He did who he dunked on, Rose. Who he dunked on. I see where some Kane fans thinking they can flip the Kelly kids. I see where some Kane fans think they can flip them. Probably only because that defensive end room could become packed. Appreciate it, my guy. Thanks for the support. Norville Central is legit. Yes, sir. And what's up, Duval? No. Let's check out Gabriel Harris. Now, Gabriel Harris is 6'4", 237 as a sophomore. I mean, he could develop into a defensive tackle potentially at already 237. By his senior year, he's probably going to at least be up. He'll be up to 250 by his senior year. But we're about to watch him, and let's see who we like more. Look, we're just splitting hairs here when it boils down to it. The fact is, they both knows, and we're gonna love them regardless. And of course, we gotta wait till the damn Trulicity. And I'll listen, guys. One day I'm gonna get the ad blocker. Denzel Moore, we'll check him out. Look, man, it's a Friday night. You know how we doing Friday nights, bro. We just come in here, chop it up, and talk. Norville Central, do you think Moore is silent? Norville Central, if you could drop some knowledge on us in the chat, it would be much appreciated. A lot of people have been talking about Denzel Moore. They expected him to commit, I think, last night or something. Apparently, the family kind of wants him to wait. Some people think he is a silent commit. You got any insight on that, my man? I don't know. Somebody on the Raptors, one of the nastiest dunks I've ever seen. You definitely agree with Harris being moved inside. He has more. He moves like an athletic D type that Bama gets. Oh, Norville Central in here. Your page. You're that page, begs FSU page. Best FSU page out there. Look, everybody loves Norville Central, boy. Shout out to Norville Central showing me some love. He likes the kids to have their own. And that's good, though. That's good. That's good that he likes. I'm not asking them to drop drop the dime, more so just dropping his opinion. But maybe his opinion would. I get you. I get what you're saying. A lot of people thinking he's a silent commit. But as you can see, guys, we're growing the community, baby. We over here, man. We out here. We doing our thing. Oh, shoot. I forgot about the tape. Okay, so we've already missed like a minute of the tape. So let me bring that up. I was reading the comments. Let's watch some Harris and see exactly what we're getting. Well, I won't say this is exactly what we're getting because as we all know, the facts are this is only sophomore kids, man. They're still growing. They're still growing. Him, Lamont Green, and they're going to be different when they finally decide to commit. Norvell says, I can't say much about more because I have been told things, but the kid's supremely talented. All right, there you guys go. Take from that what you will. Take from that what you will. Read between the lines if you have to. I will say, shout out to Norvell Central, man, for coming in here. He is supremely talented, though. We'll watch him next. I would say that it's probably trending in a very positive direction. We'll say that. And let's watch Gabriel Harris real quick. Yeah, so just off the bat, Lamont Green looks like the more lengthy kid who's still fine. His body's still developing. Somebody said it, the comment I read, I forget who, I think it was a Sniper, but you guys, they said he's had deer legs. I agree with that completely. Lamont Green, it looks like his body has to catch up to maybe his talent, and you're going to see a completely different player. When I watch this dude, he's definitely talented, but he looks to me like this is a kid that's going to translate to defensive tackle. He just looks like he can put on the weight. He's already big at 237 as a sophomore. I think this guy is going to be a defensive tackle, but I think he's explosive just at the point of attack. Now, he doesn't have the greatest first step either, but I don't think that's his game. And you see where they line him up. They're lining him up more over guards and stuff. Good hurdle right there and good block. But he just plays violent to me. Like, I like what I'm watching in this one. Like when he moves, look at it. He just plays violent, and he's obviously strong. They're actually playing him standing up, which is interesting. Even when he gets his hands on you, though, man, it's a wrap. I mean, they're playing him standing up. Well, right here, okay, he's not standing right there. Got in this little 3-point stance, but I just think he translates to inside better. Obviously, he's got a lot of room to grow in his body, but he definitely handles. He looks more of a fluid athlete. But again, I believe that Lamont Green, he's not developed yet. Like someone said, he still has the deer legs. Once that kid gets it all, once that body catches up with his talent, I think you're going to see something special there. I'm not going to say as a sophomore, he's more of a finished product, but he definitely is more used to moving with this weight. And again, he's violent, man. When he hits you, he hits you. Whenever he puts contact on a person, you can see he's trying to hurt. 47 is trying to hurt you. 47 is trying to hurt you. He shook that block off like it wasn't nothing. Look at that. Yeah, 47's out here trying to hurt kids. I love it. And I think he translates to the inside better. Or if nothing else, strong side DN. Ooh, God. Strong side DN, setting the edge type of DN. In college, you're probably looking at a kid that's going to be 6'4" to 6'5". Probably his playing weight wouldn't surprise me if he's playing at around 270. Now they might keep him leaner if they see him as a pass rusher. I don't quite see the pass rushing there, but I see him very good against the run. Like, he has good eyes, good vision, diagnoses the play fairly quickly. Not much pass rushing in this highlight tape. But look, he reads the play. Reads the play. Strong side DN for sure. Strong side defensive end for sure. And you talk about playing at 260 most likely. And again, I think if they want to, I think they can easily put the weight on him and have him move him inside. Kid's already 240. He's officially listed at 237. So he's already, as a sophomore, 6'4", 240. He's got 2 more years of high school. Yeah, so he's going to grow. He's going to be bigger. Look at he just runs over the running back right. I love his motor. I love his motor, and I love his just the tenacity he plays with. I'm not gonna lie. I think this tape is better than Lamont Green's. But I think Lamont Green, I think you see the talent. Again, his body just has to catch up with what he's trying to do on the field. But I like that guy's tape. I like his tape a lot. Good, yes, sir. Norville Central got no studios in here. You only need 170 more subscribers to get to 1,000. Really? We've been stuck at 800 something for a while, Jen. So again, if you're not subscribed, which I think most people in here are, but we were up to about 60 something. We're down to 46. Hit the like button. And if you're still in here and not subscribed, man, hit the subscribe button. Harris looks like a beast. I agree. Harris looks like a monster. He's physical up front. I like that. Absolutely. Harris looks like he's violent. I like what I saw from him. I like this kid a little more right now. Agree. I like him more right now. I like him more. Green's still growing. Again, like somebody said, he's still got the deer legs. He looks a little bit awkward when he runs, but that's just his body not being fully developed yet. This kid's definitely more physically developed than Lamont Green. Dare I say Harris got some loco ocho. Hey, that's a lot of people keep saying. They're comparing him to Jernigan, a man amongst boys. That guy, a tryhard. One of them guys I hate to practice against. Have him on my team. Now we're going to check out Morris because everybody, not Morris, but Moore. Everybody wants to talk about Moore, or that we want to watch him. So let's watch Moore. Hold on a second. Let me find him. Let's find Denzel Moore. And like I said, man, hit the like button if you haven't already. This Nose After Dark, man, these Friday night chats, they be some of my best live streams, man. Because we just come in here, we just talk about whatever, whenever, and however. Denzel Moore. He's on the smaller side height-wise compared to the last two guys we watched. So the last two guys we watched, Lamont Green, 6'4", but he was only 210. Harris was 6'4", but 237. Well, he's about 6'2 and a half, 230 out of Georgia. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see who we got, or the silent commit that nobody wants to break the news on. But a lot of people are predicting this kid's already kind of silently commit. His family wants them to take more visits. Doesn't want him to jump the gun, which quite frankly, I am all for. Like, if by chance my son gets at that level where he's being recruited by the top schools, you already know where I'm going to push him. But I'm going to want him to take as many visits as possible. And we're going to get a good feel for everybody before we make that decision. So I'm all for his family saying, you know what? You're in no rush. You're 2023. You're in no rush. Let's slow down. Let's figure some things out. Florida State's not going anywhere. They're going to be there whenever you want to commit. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. When I watch Green, I see a guy with solid fundamentals. When I watch Green, honestly, I see a raw prospect. I see a kid just with raw potential. I'm not saying Harris doesn't, because Harris definitely has it too. Oh, okay. That video started. Hold on. I'm going to pause it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Moore bringing to the table. They got him standing up, which makes sense. Look at the North Carolina unis. So he's definitely smaller than the other two. They say he's 230. He doesn't even look that. He doesn't look 230 to me. Definitely more compact, shorter, not as long as the other two guys. Definitely a kid that might be more of your linebacker type. But again, he's only a sophomore. You expect him to grow some more. But they're definitely standing him up. He's noticeably smaller, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing. Just definitely noticeably smaller than the other two guys. Where is he? Okay, there he is. Let's see. I want to see him blow his ass up. Solid, fundamental, good technique, good tackle right there. I wanted to see him blow his head off, though, but he didn't do it. Oh, they got him on offense at running back. Okay. So he definitely doesn't have no elite speed, as you just saw right there. Looked a little slow, but he's tough. Good tackle here. Got in the backfield fast. Okay. His first step is, I think, quicker than the other two guys. Okay, so they use him as a lot of stand-up end. The cameraman sucks, but good play right there. Got him on offense again. Here we go on offense again. So they like to use him as running back. Another long strider. Again, not very fast, but long strider, makes up ground with the stride. And definitely he's physical, so they just, he's running through guys. And that's all we got right there. So that 2023 class, man, could potentially be the class. More so than the 2022 class. I got to say, I think Harris had the best tape. Todd, I did find my gray hat. I did find it. As a matter of fact, I think I wore it in my last video. It's around here somewhere, but I did find it. Pope, once your son get on that level, I wouldn't be surprised if you were working for some type of college football team or working with that would be a dream. That would be a dream, bro. Should check out Stantavius Smith highlights. He has a motor like Gabriel Harris. That Denzel Moore tape is actually freshman tape. Okay. I believe Moore's freshman highlights. So he's probably a different player than what we just witnessed. But again, still good tape. Again, I don't put too much stock in when you start talking about freshman and sophomore tape. I don't Don't put a lot of stock in it, but it's good and it's fun to watch at the same time. But man, we've been on past 2 hours. We still got 45 strong. What else do we got tonight before I cut out? I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast. So before we head out, let's get a couple more topics. And then we're going to call it a beautiful night. Or we can cut it right now if you guys are done with me. Let me know. I got a little bit more left in the bottle. Yeah, Nico's tape. I remember watching that one on here. And that Nico's sophomore tape, you couldn't convince me that he wasn't going to be a 5-star. Nico's sophomore tape was flat out nasty. I want to see Jermaine Johnson. I haven't seen him play it at all. Let's see if we can find. Now, we're not going to find any huddle tape on. I say baked beans are overrated. You got to have them cooked the right way. You got to get the ground beef in the baked beans. Look, we can always do Fat Boy YouTube. Y'all know I'm down to talk the food. You know I'm down to talk the food. Let's see if we can find Jermaine Johnson. I guess the most we would find of him is maybe some Georgia stuff. You can find some highlights. What is this crap? Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. And Rose wants to look at drop your. What is that? So I use from my cryptocurrency. I use Coinbase. I use the Coinbase app. So I don't even know how to do. Again, I'm still learning the app, so I'm not 100% sure how to do what you just asked me to do. So if you're familiar with that, tell me how to do that. I use the Coinbase app. And Rose wants to look at Stan Tate. Is he 2023, Rose? But I can't find anything on Jermaine that's not like. Let me see. Here's his huddle. Ultimate Juke. I mean, he's got some JUCO highlights. Y'all want to watch the JUCO stuff? Here, let's watch the JUCO stuff. And then we'll look at who Rose want to look at. Switch to Coinbase Pro, cheaper fees. Okay, definitely do that, Tyler. See, Tyler is my guy. Tyler's gonna put me on this cryptocurrency stuff, so I know what I'm doing. Okay, can y'all see that? This is Johnson at JUCO. Now, he did play after this JUCO. He did play at Georgia, but this is him on JUCO level. AR, shout out to AR, but he made it he said that the guy was their best pass rusher. And he's definitely looking unblockable at the JUCO level. And he did play big time SEC football, so we're getting a good one, man. We're getting a good one. Word from the tour of duty is that he's a physical specimen as well. That he's just physically different than the other defensive ends we have on the roster, which I love to hear. And he's causing havoc at the JUCO level. Look at this. He just 70. I think that's 76. Yeah, 76 never had a chance. Never had a legit chance in hell. Let's see what 75 does. Yeah, the JUCO level, he couldn't be blocked. Jesus. Hard for me to tell. It's JUCO, so I can't say. And he did play a year at Georgia where I think he had 5 sacks. So I like what he's bringing to Florida State, period. But yeah, at the JUCO level, he was dominant, as you can see. He can't be blocked. Look at this. And then he closes oh my God. He's so fast once he gets a full head of steam. If he can bring any of this to FSU's defense, this would be the best defensive end play we've seen since Brian Burns. If he can bring any of this to Florida State next year, any of it. He's just dominant. Again, it's JUCO. I got it, but he's been dominant. Look at that hit. Jeez. Hey, Jermaine Johnson's looking good now. Again, this is the JUCO. His Georgia tape probably doesn't look as good as this in the SEC, but hey, he was unblockable at JUCO level. And not only unblockable, but look at the way he's hitting these guys. He is decleating these kids. This is still junior college. No, it's not the SEC, but it's still junior college. And he just killed the quarterback right there. He is killing these kids. Like literally taking their cleats off the turf. Good player. Good player. Good player. Glad to have him. We'll see what he brings to the table. That was pretty impressive stuff from Jermaine Johnson. Select the deposit option. All right, Tyler, let me go to that. Is that in my settings? Where is that at? Tyler, you know what? I'm gonna message you on Discord and explain to me how to. We'll do it on Discord. We'll get into all of that stuff on Discord, Tyler. So we can help me understand the crypto and also some of the stock market stuff. I'm gonna get with you on Discord. We'll get off the record on that. How would you compare Nico versus Altmaier? I thought Nico's sophomore tape was elite. His junior season didn't quite stack up. I think they say he struggled with some injuries in that junior season. Tough. I think, and I'm not going to just say this because we got Nico and we didn't get Altmaier. I think that Nico tape was a little better. Did you hear LaDamian Webb is going back to JUCO? That means his grades are completely. Again, I said it when he transferred from Troy. I hope whatever's going on with him, he figures it out. He's obviously going through his grades are messed up and some other stuff. How you go from Florida State to Troy Town now back to JUCO? I don't know what's going on with LaDamian. Who you like more, the Duffy kid or the Morris kid? I've said it before. We've watched some of MJ Morris. I know he's rated higher than all of these other kids. He's a lot more of a raw potential type talent. I think Nico's a better thrower than Morris, personally. I think Nico's a better thrower than MJ Morris. Matter of fact, the last tape we'll watch Duffy. And then again, Tyler, I'm gonna get with you on the Discord over this crypto stuff. And yeah, I think this would be the last. I think we'll end on this. We'll end on some Duffy, and then we'll call it a night here. As you can see, it's getting dark for me. I know it's already dark for you guys. It's getting late, but I definitely want to check out AJ Duffy, and that'll be what we end on. Another great show, man. Everybody who showed up and showed some support. Now I gotta find sophomore season highlights. Morris is rated top 100, man. MJ Morris is rated. If you go check out Morris, he's rated. Yeah, he's rated like number 70 overall. Duffy's rated 103 nationally. Nico's rated. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Player rankings. Now, again, y'all remember I use 247 for all my rankings, for all my recruiting, all of that. I use a 247 composite. Let's go to QBs. We're going to look at this, and then we're going to get into the so like they have Sam Horn rated 97, which I don't agree with. I don't think Sam Horn is as good as AJ Duffy. But as you can see right here, AJ Duffy is 103. Nico's 220. And then if you go to dual quarterbacks, I think Morris is rated like 70. 73. So they got Morris is rated as the highest prospect out of all of those guys. But I also think he's the more raw talent out of all of those guys. Personally. And let's go to let's watch this. Let's watch this now. All right. Let's see what Duffy working with. And then the whole 7 minutes of highlights. So yeah, we'll definitely close off on this. That release is ridiculous. This is my first time watching his tape, by the way. This is my first time watching Duffy's tape, so I'm watching it with you guys. That release is ridiculous. Like, okay, right there, he didn't put as much oomph on it. A little bit more touch pass right there. Bro, is that field really red? Wow. But that release, oh my God, he gets that ball out of there fast. I love it. Okay. I don't know if he has the livest arm in terms of distance. Seems like his distance might lack a little. Yeah, that field is actually red. Wow. We got a little bit of legs on him, but his release is nice. Like he gets the ball out of there fast, accurate. I thought one of the great things about Altmaier's tape was how accurate he was. I thought Nico's sophomore tape is very similar to that. That was like Altmaier's best trait was his accuracy. Good throw right there. Yeah, if FSU can get this kid, him and Nico, we're good. His release, I like his release. I like that release. Like man. Is it me or does it look like when he throws the football, the tape is sped up? Like his throwing motion is nice. That ball just jumps off his arm. Again, I don't know if he has the biggest arm, but it's the release is fast enough. Especially that intermediate, the short game. Now you can see when he throws the longer ball, he winds up a little bit longer on the longer ball and takes his time. 45 down the field was just like, just had his hands up. Yeah, so when he throws the deep ball, the release is still there. It's still fast, but it takes a little bit longer time, kind of winds up on the throw a little bit. But man, when he's throwing that intermediate right there, that intermediate throws and them short throws, that ball zips out of his arm. He does not hesitate. The ball jumps out of his arm. Nice. Very nice. Check out Thomas Castillo's tape when you get a chance. He's a 2022 recruit. Reminds me of a high school Russell Wilson, supposed to be recruited as a running back. Okay. I would like to come out there and watch a football game. Absolutely, Todd. Absolutely. If you're ever able to make it, well, first of all, I gotta get out of Hawaii, but you're ever able to make it down to Florida, let's make it happen. What's up, Raymond James? Quinn Ayers has the fastest release we've seen. Did we watch Quinn Ayers' tape? Remember, I know we talked about him a little bit as being the perfect prospect. I was looking at some Milton film at UCF, and Milton has a super quick release. Well, we know what Milton is. What Milton is. We know what he is. Milton's a good quarterback. Poker, you watching Birchlet versus Valdez tomorrow? I'm watching Adrian Broner tomorrow. I'm going to watch the AB fight tomorrow. Now, I do have to work tomorrow night, which sucks. So if the schedules line up and I got time, I'll live stream Adrian Broner. I'll live stream that one. It's definitely a quick release, similar to Dak Prescott. Decent comparison there by Lorenzo. He threw that one. That was a good throw right there. He looks bigger than what he's listed as well. He's only listed at, I think, 6'2". I think Duffy's only listed at like 6'2", 200 pounds or something like that. He's not particularly big. But to me, he looks bigger. His tape, he looks bigger. So yeah, he's listed at 6'2", 203, but he looks bigger. Oh, yeah, we did, LOL. You were saying his parents had to pay professional. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did watch him, Green Bay. You're right. We did watch him because I wanted to see how the hell is he the perfect high school prospect. And I actually remember that. We did watch him, and yeah, we were like, he's been being taught by a professional trainer. Quinn Ayers definitely has the tools. I do remember that now. Yeah, he was nasty. Now that I remember, absolutely. You're absolutely 100% right. You're absolutely right. So this is just 7 minutes of Duffy just slinging this thing all over the yard. So we're gonna close off with Duffy and then call it a night. But I like what I'm saying from Duffy. I don't know how I feel about this red football field though. Part of me likes it, and part of me's like, should that even be legal? should a team be allowed to have a red? I guess if you can have a blue one, you can have a red one. I guess. His legs look better than I think what people are giving him credit for. I mean, they got him listed as a pro style quarterback. I'm not saying he's Jordan Travis or anything like that, but solid. And there you have it, man. That was Duffy. Green Bay says, when you watch Travis Hunter's tape, I swear it's 80%. A lot of people think that he's actually a better receiver than the DB. We'll see. I think he's going to play both in college. I think his ceiling is probably DB though. But hey, man, thanks everybody who tuned in tonight on this little Nose After Dark. Another good show. Hit the like button if you haven't hit it already. And by all means, man, when we do these shows, let people know. Shout out to Norvell Central who came in and showed some love. Shout out to Seminole, only Seminoles who came in and showed some love. Shout out to all my other people out there that's content creators showing some love. Instagram pages, Twitter pages. Go check out all of those guys. Good show tonight. I'm going to go out here, get me something to eat. You guys be safe out there. Of course, in the States, be warm. If you're in any state but Florida, apparently, be safe, be warm. If you're in Florida and if you're over here in Hawaii like me, enjoy the sun and the beach because that's what we do. Again, not rubbing it into you guys' face. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. Yes, Rose, I promise you. Don't forget. We're going to watch him next time. Absolutely. Again, have a good night. Stay safe. Stay warm. As always, stay classy, Seminoles. And we got you. Go Noles.